Welcome to another great episode of Shiz Happens. I'm your host, Shizman, and I have a very special guest, Mr. Hasan Sheikh, aka Elmanek. This man knows every sport that I've known from the 80s and 70s till today and on. I know you're humble bragger, but let's get into it. Today's episode, first of all, will allow you to introduce yourself however you want to, but we're going to be talking about 2025 playoffs, NBA playoffs that begin this Saturday.
Sure. Well, thanks for the introduction, Shaw. I'm honored to be here. 70s, yeah, maybe a little. 80s, yeah, I guess, born in the 80s. So, but as I said back in our day, NBA action is fantastic. So it's not my favorite sport, but obviously the playoffs in any sport are exciting, and especially the NBA. So this is going to be interesting. The NBA had a really weird season. The ratings were down early,
Yep,
like 20% beginning of the season, probably because the NFL was, rocking and rolling and nobody could really compete with that. And then they got a slight boost from the Christmas lineup, and then obviously the Jimmy Butler trade, Luka Doncic trade,
that was a big one. Yeah.
got the ratings back up, and in our interest, we kind of started talking about it as well. But overall, in regional sport, regional networks with each team, I think like 25 out of 30 saw like a 10 to 13% decline. So the playoffs, I think, should be better than usual. There are a lot of compelling storylines, which we'll get into, obviously. So yeah, we can get started with this 2025 playoff
Awesome.
bracket.
Awesome. I'm as excited as you. I'll like to pick your brain. We're talking about, again, 2025 NBA playoffs starts this Saturday. I know a lot of people are tuning in. Unfortunately, being a local, the Bulls lost yesterday. I know, Huston, you're in great pain. They should have won. I think it was a scam because they wanted to get the draft pick. So we'll talk about that maybe sometime next year. But
Sure.
regarding the playoffs, I know we have Eastern Conference and Western Conference. Which one would you like to get into first? Because I know you have a favorite here.
Yeah, I think we probably should start with the Eastern Conference because the Western Conference is probably they have probably the most compelling matchups that we
Yep.
could get into. A lot of storylines. The East, I think, as we'll get into, I think it's as years pass, just fait accompli with some of these teams,
Yeah,
with
it's like
one or two
anyone
of these
can make
teams.
it out of East. So yeah. So let's get into it. Let's go first versus eighth.
Okay,
Who?
so right now Cleveland is obviously the number one team. I don't know, did it end yet? But the Heat and the Hawks, I'm assuming the
Oh,
Heat
they're playing
probably.
tonight. Yeah,
Yeah,
they're
I'm pretty
playing.
sure the
I
Heat
didn't
won
look.
that. So yeah,
Yeah,
assuming the Heat won, which they probably will.
yeah.
Uh, this is obviously an interesting matchup too because like OKC, this is like an unproved. They did win they got the number one seed in the East, and OKC got the number one seed in the West. OKC like 68 wins, and these guys had a lot of wins as well. But the playoffs are a different story, and one thing with the NBA is like the regular season, as we know as Bulls fans with like Tom Thibodeau, is like the regular season and the playoffs are just two different seasons.
Two different
And
beasts. Yeah,
proving yourself, being playoff tested, counts for a lot. Now the Heat obviously lost Jimmy Butler, but they torched the Bulls, which I mean I think we all knew was going to happen. Tyler Hero scoring 38 points. I mean, okay,
that's
they
ridiculous.
obviously didn't care that day, but so I don't know if they're going to be it's going to be a they're going to roll over for the Cavaliers, but the Cavaliers have a lot to prove, and for them to get out of the first round is going to be pivotal. It's just do they have that playoff moxie to not feel the pressure and just play their game. They may take them one or two games to get into the groove, but I think they should be able to win the series no matter who they play. The Hawks, I feel like that would be like a 4-1 or a sweep, but the Heat, they can put some points on you. So I would probably say at the most we're at a 4-2 Cleveland Cavaliers winning the series.
Yeah, and then I would like to comment on their inexperience, right? But they have a crazy record and crazy point guards and centers and
Yeah,
front line. It's great. But the Heat has Eric Spoelstra,
yep,
and they do have
defensive
some
coach.
playoff pieces after
Yeah,
Butler's
some
departure.
guys who made the finals before. Yeah,
Yeah,
when they went on that crazy run, it was a couple years
yeah,
ago. But no playoff Jimmy this time, which is huge. But the other thing is, uh, they can if they're hitting their threes, they could be pretty dangerous.
killer.
Donovan Mitchell has to have obviously a pretty good game the entire series. He's their star. He's
Yep,
obviously going to perform and rise to the occasion. And this is probably his best chance to really get somewhere with the team.
yeah.
It's probably his best chance to get to a finals, and with a team that's pretty strong in an East that's not that strong. So, like you said, it could be anyone's time to get to the finals. But as we'll discuss a little earlier, I mean, I may have some thoughts on that. But yeah,
Yep.
Cleveland has as good a chance as anyone as if they get past in the first round. But
Yep.
we'll see.
Yeah,
We'll see
and
what
then
happens.
I hate to say dark horse, but Miami's always been scary with Eric, right? So, and we'll get into playoff Jimmy. I just wanted to quickly comment about the play-in the other day. You already seen playoff Jimmy, what, on Wednesday night, because he had what, 38 along with
Yeah,
Steph
he
Curry.
did pretty darn good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so I think, I mean, I don't want to, my hands are shaking, but I think he pushed the button Tuesday night or Wednesday morning. You
yeah.
might see playoff Jimmy take over in Golden State. So we'll talk about that when we get there. That is the eighth seed and the first seed. How about the next matchup?
So we can go to the 4 or 5. I think we can get to some of the ones that we probably both agree on. I'd say I think Boston and Magic. We're thinking 4-0, 4-1.
Yeah,
Boston. Yeah,
exactly.
and
Boston's
what's
too
interesting.
strong.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
what's interesting about that series too is like the Magic are actually the best defensive team in terms of like allowing points or whatever in the NBA. But the Boston Celtics, I think, out of all the playoff
loaded.
teams, seem like the most complete team.
Experienced champions. I mean, they have everybody. They have like everybody. Lord Brown's going to be hot. Jason Tatum. I mean, everybody's coming.
Tatum again, that's an interesting point too. He's probably the most disrespected superstar, right? I don't know why this
Yes.
guy gets like the hate or whatever. Obviously, he didn't win the MVP in the finals last year. Brown got it. If he was a star, he should have won it.
Yep.
What
He should
people
have won
say,
it.
didn't really get much playing time in the Olympics for some reason. But yeah, I mean the Magic, even though they're a young and up and coming team, but I don't think they've got enough to beat these guys in a 7 game series. And these,
Yeah,
like you said, they're battle tested. Their coaching is great. They really know what they're doing. So I think that's an easy prediction for most people
I
that
agree.
the Celtics are.
4-1, 4-0 could be a sweep.
Yeah.
Uh, let's move on to the next.
Okay, this is a good one. The 4 or 5, the Pacers versus the Bucks. Obviously, uh, the
Scary.
Bucks a few years ago were champions, but
Kill.
I just think that they haven't really gotten better. They seem like the same old team, and
Yeah.
obviously
Well, Dame
Lillard
is
had
not
that.
coming. I heard he's not in first round of playoffs, so he's
He's
coming a little
not. He
late.
has that vein thrombosis or whatever it's called. He's off the blood clot medication. However, they haven't ruled him out for the playoffs, but he's out for this series, which is big. And the Pacers are a pretty good team. I mean, I don't think
Cooking.
people should really sleep on them either. They've got a really good offense, and
What's his name?
I
The guy from Toronto, Siakam.
Siakam, yeah,
Yeah, he's killing. He's been
yeah.
killing since the trade. He was good in Toronto, so
Yeah. So yeah, they have guys like that. Probably not household names, but still. I mean, this is the East, obviously,
yeah,
small
it's
market
weak.
team in the East. So yeah, we don't know, but will Giannis, live up to? Not live up to, but rise to the occasion and maybe
Yes.
get them because right now they're the fifth seed and they have won a title as I mentioned. New coach and everything, and I just feel like they're the same old team. Like nothing's really
Yeah.
changed on
I
their.
mean, you thought Dame would make a difference, and I really thought he would. I honestly, the trade, in my opinion, when he was traded to Milwaukee, he's still primish, but he's past his prime.
Yeah,
And they took him as a desperation heave. I mean, he did his points here and there. You don't ever see him on the box score or ESPN headline dropping 40, 50 that he did in Portland, right? I
yeah.
think he's on his way down. He's still a killer, you know that, but he's coming off of an injury. See how he I don't know when he's coming in game 3, game 4. If it lasts that long, the series, it might be a sweep. Depends. If
Yeah,
they see blood in the water, I think Milwaukee's in trouble.
Yeah, he's out for the series, I believe. I'm pretty
Oh,
sure
is
they
he?
ruled him out. I don't, but they didn't rule him out for the playoffs. So he's off like the blood thinner medication. So that means, I guess that's a
But
good
Hudson, that's
sign.
what I'm saying. It's the 4-5. If Giannis doesn't get going, he doesn't get out of first round, right? And they're gone. So
Yeah,
Dame is not going to come back in time to help him.
yeah. I don't think
So
they are going to get out of the first round. I
yeah, I
think
agree.
Indiana
I think
will.
Indiana takes the pick. What is the final results?
I think Indiana will probably this might be the one that goes 7. 'Cause remember,
Yes.
Indiana played New York really well. That was probably the most compelling series of last year, right? And we kind of like again, you don't really hear about Indiana throughout the season, and then in the playoffs, there's always like those teams that just I didn't know they were that good, and then they maybe the matchup
Killing.
really favors them.
The matchup
So
favorites, yes.
yeah, and with an
Coaching.
offense like theirs with Halliburton, these guys who just launch threes, and uh, I think Indiana is not going to be a slouch, and I think I think this one goes 7. I think I think it'll be Indiana eventually. I know Giannis, as great as he is, he'll have an impact, obviously, but it seems like if you just stop him, I mean, who
It's
else
over.
is going to really
Yeah,
step up?
I'm not
Yeah,
going to give it. I mean, I respect your opinion. I understand the rankings, but yeah, the experience. You have ex MVP, blah blah blah. But Dame being out is a big drop for him,
yeah.
and he's used to that 20, 30 a game. Unless I don't know who's going to step up. Portis. I don't know who else will, but Lopez. But to me,
They're old. You know what I'm saying?
yes,
Like nothing has changed really.
nothing's
Like
changed for 5 years. Yes.
yeah, and I'm like, what is? Yeah, they won the finals and they did great, but they shouldn't have. In my opinion, they shouldn't have got rid of Drew Holiday. I thought that guy is
Yeah,
just
yeah,
so
that was a
good.
mistake. Yep.
Yeah,
I
and
think
you
Alex
got
Caruso left the Bulls. That was a mistake too. You know.
yeah. So
Uh,
there you go, man. I mean, a lot
yeah.
of mistakes, but hey,
But
and
my
this is a
yeah,
big off season too for the Bucks.
yeah.
There are all these rumors of Giannis wanting out and stuff. So we'll see.
Hopefully, he goes to the Bulls like he said it. I don't know if that was true, but
Anything to root for in
yeah.
Chicago,
But
man.
I think my pick is, I mean, Indiana, man. I mean, you said Game 7. I think it ends in Game 6.
Okay,
Uh, yeah. But that's
okay.
just
So
my
we're
opinion.
okay. So
Yeah,
last one in the
I
East.
think Indiana's hungrier because
Yeah.
they haven't been there, and I think Giannis is bored and tired of Milwaukee. So
That's a very good point. I mean, obviously he has his frustrations. He wants to be on a winner. He had that one. What is it? That interview after they were eliminated. I think it was last year or the year before, where
yeah, yeah,
he's talking about failure and all this isn't a failure. It's just
yeah.
getting better. So
Demoralizing.
yeah, I think he's definitely going to have to look for greener pastures. It's going to be his. I mean, what are they really adding there? Like I said, it just seems like they keep trudging out the same team. And
Yeah, and they think they can ride that for a long time, so it's not
yeah,
going to work. So, yeah, I would think. Yeah, I would think they take it 3-2.
okay.
So
Well,
Indiana.
I think it's about a 7. So
Oh,
you're saying
sorry.
four
Yes.
two, four
Yeah,
two.
4-2. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, I think
Uh,
it'd be over at that point. But yeah,
yeah.
we'll see where that goes. Let's go
The
to
last
who's next.
one is
Yeah,
the 3 seed Knicks against the 6 seed Pistons. Yeah.
go on.
So where did you get that?
I
You have a
stole it
Knicks
from
hat?
some guy. I was coming here to the studio, and I beat him up for it. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know. I just had it. I just had to wear it. So
Well, you liked John Starks back in the day, right?
yeah, let's go to history. John Starks was huge. One of my favorite point guards who hated the Bulls. And my all-time favorite, you probably think Hakeem Olajuwon. Of course, he's a great. Shaq's one of my favorite
Ewing.
too. I can never go. Yes, Patrick Ewing. It brings
Yeah.
me. Yeah.
I feel bad. These young people don't know like that NBA where it was center dominated, where
Yep.
nobody was shooting threes. But like Patrick Ewing was great in college, and then lived up to that,
Georgetown.
in the
Yeah.
NBA. Yeah,
Yeah. But the thing is, let me say something to you. We can go back in time in the 90s. He put up a fight against Jordan. Of course,
of
I would never
course.
want him to beat Jordan. Of course, I would
Yeah,
never want that.
of course.
But he just brought it. Like to me, my ultimate, all-time favorite NBA player, you probably think is Jordan. No, for me, I told you before, is Dennis Rodman. It's the heart. It's the weirdness. Like when he came in, they got 3 more championships. You remember
Right.
in the Last Dance, Pippen and was it Jordan? They're like, we don't want to sign him, but
Yeah.
Jordan said, if I remember correctly, he's like, bring him. We need 20 rebounds a game.
Mm, yeah.
And that's what he
That's what
did.
they got. Yeah.
So
Well, unless he
I,
was suspended, but yeah.
yeah,
Um,
yeah. Or he went to Vegas as, Phil Jackson was requested, can I go for a couple days?
yeah.
Jordan's like, he'll never come back. So Carmen Electra, but that's neither here or there. But
Yeah.
for
The
me
youngins don't know
is,
about that either.
yeah, they don't. But Patrick Ewing, man, I felt his passion, and I
Yeah.
hated that he lost. Of course, I can never go against my Bulls. So, what are your thoughts about the matchups and your who's your winners?
Yeah, this is probably the toughest one for me to pick where I'm not entirely sure where to go with it because the Pistons, I always thought was one of those franchises like the Bulls, like
Cunningham,
left for dead, where the ownership and everything, nobody knew what was going on or how to run a team, but they're just going to constantly be a lottery pick team. But um, the Pistons, a 30-game turnaround from last year to
killer,
this year, one of the best of all time. Cade Cunningham, obviously a
Cunningham.
remarkable player, really came into his own. One of the former top picks a few years ago. The Knicks, however, they got a pretty darn good team, and again, coached by Thibodeau, who we all know and love out here. He kind of plays these guys in that 5 to 6 man rotation. Runs them into the ground. Even if they're up 20,
Rolls, Derrick Rose.
yeah, even though they're up 20, they're going to play with 20 seconds left. That type of thing. I don't think it's going to be easy for the Knicks, but I think that the Pistons. This may be the only like
Yes,
upset alert I would probably say, but I would
upstart. Yes,
still go with the Knicks here. I think they just have unfinished business from last year. They've
Yes.
made a pretty big run. Brunson, I think, is a really underrated guy, even though he should be a
And he's
household
coming
name.
off of an injury. What I mean by that is, I mean, maybe injured. I meant he's going to bring some energy because he
Yeah,
had a chance to rest. So
sure.
Brunson is nasty. I don't know who's going to stop him, but
Nobody.
Detroit is it could be insane, an upset.
Yeah, I
So
mean, and New York just has so many good pieces. Ogunjobi, I think that's how you pronounce it. Defense, Towns obviously is good. Hart is a really good hustle playmaker type dude. So they've got a really good team, but I think it just goes through Brunson, and he just from
it
last
does.
year, even all this year, he's just such a terrific player. I don't see how they can stop the Knicks for in a 7 game series. I think this might be another one that goes pretty deep. I'm gonna go 4-2 Knicks.
Wow, nice. Same thing with me. And the other thing is not to discount Detroit. I mean, they're coming hungry. Is all I'm going to say to you.
They have
You
nothing to
know,
lose, maybe, who
they have
knows?
nothing to lose.
Yeah.
They made it, and they're like, we can shock these guys. We can shock the world, and it'll be amazing. It'll be
Yeah.
amazing to see.
14
Um,
wins last year, now 44, and now they're the sixth seed, which is crazy. You
and
know,
then imagine next year, they're only going to get better. I assume some free agents going to come there, some drafts pick. If they don't make it out of this round, who knows?
who knows? Yeah, I
So,
mean, it seems
yeah,
like they got a pretty good core out there.
yeah, mine would be 4-2 as well. Unfortunately, because I love Knicks, but I do want to see an upset because I'm all about underdogs. I love
Yeah.
Detroit, so fantastic. Anything else regarding Eastern Conference?
No, yeah. So that's the first round. Do you want to go through the whole all the way to who's making the Eastern Finals, or you want to go
Um,
to the West and maybe revisit it later or something?
I think revisit it later. Let's just
You
do
do the
Eastern
first round.
Conference first round, and then we
Okay.
can check in. These are our picks for the sake of excitement, and we'll hear more once we go deep into the playoffs. We can do another one if you're interested for
Sure.
a continuation version two. Hey, what were your picks? What are the results? And then how's round two? We can talk
Okay.
about it later. Let's get into Western Conference, and I'm really excited about it. Let's go ahead and talk about first versus eighth.
Okay. So let me just quickly check to see. Oh, so the
These
games are tomorrow for the rest of the plans to see who the eight
plans.
seeds are. Yeah, so that'll be tomorrow. Okay. Well, let's just I guess since the plan is tomorrow, who do you got with the Mavericks and the Grizzlies moving on to face the Thunder?
Oh man.
That's a kind of tough one, right?
It's really bad because they both suck. It's amazing. Grizzlies were ranked one for some time in the past. John Morant was amazing. I don't know if he has gun issues or whatever. I don't know what messed him up. He's not the same player. It brings me great pain because I thought he would be the next person after James leaves or Booker, but I don't see that. So, um, man, it's the tough one, man, because Mavs lost a lot of people, a lot of injuries. AD's gone, right? He's injured for the season. So,
No, I
man,
think Anthony Davis is playing. Kyrie is
really?
out for the year.
Okay, okay.
Yeah,
So I don't think it's enough. I don't think it's enough, in my
yeah,
opinion.
I don't
Uh,
think so either.
I think both are bad picks, but it's going to be Grizzlies for me on the
But
play-in.
the Grizzlies did do a pretty good job against the Warriors. I mean, they were down big, came back, made a game of
Yeah,
it. Obviously, I think Morant got injured in that game. I think if he was healthy, maybe they could have pulled it off. But
yeah,
they got a really good shooting. Bain is a good 3-point shooter. Gosh, what is his name? Jaron
yeah,
Jackson or Darren Jackson, number
yep.
13. Really good player. I like that guy a lot. He's really good. And then they got Zach Edey, who's this enigmatic player, great college player, 7'4", great size, but when you play small against a guy like that, he just you
Can't keep
pick
up.
and roll on him, and he's
It's
taken out
over.
of the equation, right?
He's gone.
And he doesn't score enough to make up for the defensive inefficiency. So yeah, I think if Moran is playing, I feel like the Grizzlies are going all the way, and then
Yeah,
I think they're gonna whoever wins that is gonna get trounced by the Oklahoma City
yeah.
Thunder for sure.
I agree. OKC is going to sweep. Yeah,
Yeah, and
unfortunately, unless you see some injury from OKC with their star player, I
yeah.
hate that he's going to get MVP. He's probably going to get MVP.
So who do you,
But
you think like Jokic should get MVP over him?
yeah, man. The thing
Yeah,
is, I'm super biased. I'm all about stats, right?
yeah.
Like
I
you
mean, but
are.
he's also played. I mean, what did he average? A triple double again this year?
Yeah,
Pretty
yeah.
insane.
First center, I think. First center in NBA history that averaged a triple double. So,
Crazy. Yeah.
and
So
honestly, even Joel. I know Joel had a good season that year. It should have been four in a row. We
it should
talked
have been,
about
yeah.
this. Yeah,
But
they
again,
don't want to give it.
we talk about
Yeah,
voter
we'll talk about it
fatigue,
later. Yeah.
right?
So, next one down is next series.
So you're saying so Grizzlies, and then they're going to lose to OKC in the first round.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a sweep. What do
Sweep,
you think?
sweep. Yeah,
Sweep.
I give the Grizzlies one game, so I'd say 4-1.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, there's a
Okay.
chance for sure. I just think how their team is built, they just killing people, man.
Yeah. Okay, well, I think we should save
4-0
this
or
next one
4-1,
for
that's fair.
yeah,
So,
I think we should save this the 4-5 for the last, and
yep.
then let's just go to another really good compelling matchup. I think the Warriors as a 7 seed against the Rockets, the number 2 seed. That's going to be pretty crazy.
Rockets are an underdog. They're amazing. Young Bucks, oh my God, killer team. Killer
I
team.
I think the Rockets pull the upset in here, even though I love the Warriors and Steph Curry. I just think the thing with the Warriors is like they played that like 5-6 man rotation.
Yeah.
The middle of the towards the end of the year, they had like some of the best defensive efficiency per 100 possessions with those same five guys like Green and was it Curry, Butler, I think
Butler.
Looney. So it was like they went to that smaller lineup and that helped them out a lot. But
Okay, no problem.
but yeah, no. So like I was saying, I think it was a week or two ago. The Warriors played the Rockets, and Amen Thompson of the Rockets, who's an up and coming star,
Yep.
2nd year guy, held Curry to 3 points, 1 of 10 shooting, and that's pretty scary. Amen. I think people are gonna get to know this guy this playoffs. 2nd year
Yeah.
guys,
If he
6'6"
shuts them
guy,
down again,
great defensive player. Good friend of mine said reminds me of Scottie Pippen. I mean, obviously he scores maybe
big
like
wing.
50.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the Rockets obviously coached by is it Udoka, right? He's been to the
Yep.
finals against these guys, right? Maybe payback for him, but I just don't know if they have enough to overcome like that young team. But so I'm gonna give a slight. I'm gonna pick the Rockets in the upset. I think this is gonna go like 6 or 7 games. I love the Warriors. I'm praying they win because I would love to see them play the Lakers and that LeBron Curry once again in the playoffs would just break the TV ratings, I guess, for it. But
Yeah.
yeah, so what do you think?
Um, I'm trying to think because I agree the age, right? But let's flip it over. Experience, the best shooter ever, and then probably the best coach ever, right? Steve
One
Kerr.
of the best. Yeah,
So
he
it's
should
very
be in that
difficult. But
conversation.
yeah, it's a tough one for me. And I guess I told you I like underdogs. I like Rockets, young killers. Man, this is a tough one. I'll be honest. I want to say Rockets because of their youth and just they're coming hungry like Detroit, right? Inexperience, the post Harden era in playoffs. Like I said, my heart wants to say Rockets. I'm going to say seventh game, Steph Curry game winner.
Yeah,
And
I'll give you that. Sorry, go ahead.
and let me tell you what else the wild card, which will happen on Wednesday, is don't forget playoff Jimmy. I don't know what's coming. I don't know what's coming. I don't know if you know,
Yeah, no.
but he wants to show Miami Heat at the Golden State game when they start, in my opinion. So
Yeah, he got a lot to prove. I mean, he's obviously we know how he performs play. I mean, he took that ragtag
he
Heat
said, he says, I
from
want
the
to be traded. I'm going to show you
yeah
that I didn't lose a step.
the
If you remember
play-in
the interview.
game to the finals. Yeah, I mean you can't ever count out Jimmy, right? Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, let's quickly wrap up.
Yeah.
But I will say also like I think if it goes 7 games, the Warriors can eke it out. But I think the Rockets are just they've been playing well all year. It's just they're
Killer.
not household names just yet, but they
Yeah.
will.
Yep.
Okay, so let's go to the Lakers and the T Wolves 3-6. Another really good matchup. 2 stars,
Scary.
3 stars, possibly right. I think the Lakers are going to win this one. I think it's 4-2. But again, can't count out Anthony Edwards and what he did
Anthony.
last year. Took those same guys to the Western Finals, but I don't know if they have enough to beat the Luca and LeBron is playing like I mean the fountain
Yep.
of youth. He's found it again.
Yeah.
Playing without the ball looks even more dangerous. Austin Reeves looks really good, and it just seems like that's all you need. Doncic, Reeves, and LeBron. They're gonna play
It's
small.
amazing what a trade can do because if you give me the same question now with AD from like last year, year before, I don't know if I would say Lakers. I would say, Minnesota because
Yeah,
Anthony's hot, and then he had Towns, and then that Frenchman I forgot, but
Gobert. Yeah.
yeah, Gobert. But Gobert has lost his touch when he left the last team, got traded. He's just collecting checks, if you ask me. And I agree. I hate to say this because I want Anthony to win, and I'm kind of tired of LeBron, but it's too much. And it's not just LeBron, it's everybody from that team. So my
It's
pick,
too much of the Lakers just getting
too
all the
much of the
hype.
Lakers, yes. So 4-2, 4-2, 4-2. I
4-2
want to say
Lakers.
4-1. I want to say 4-1. That's unrealistic because I think if they lose, let's say three in a row, right? First 3 games, I'm talking about Minnesota. I think Anthony might turn it on and get one, but I think it's over 4-1, 4-2. That's it. Lakers
Okay.
take it. Yep.
Okay. Now the series I'm dying to watch and can't wait to watch. It's the 4-5. The Nuggets are the fourth seed against the Clippers, who are the fifth seed. I think that's really
Wow.
the series of
It
the
is.
first round, in my opinion. I mean,
It
after that,
is.
after the Rockets Warriors, um, this is one where I'm going to have to pick the Clippers over the Nuggets. I think there are two teams that are going in opposite directions. I think they're like 18-2 or something in the last 20 games. The Clippers, Kawhi Leonard's back. They let go of Paul George, if you remember. They were taking 20
Yes.
points out. Leonard's not playing half the year. You got like Harden and Zubac, okay, running a pick and roll, and they're getting to the fifth seed, right? If Kawhi's healthy, what do they look like? They've got a good bench. You know, remember Derek Jones Jr. from
Yep.
who was on the Bulls.
Yeah.
They got
Bulls
Batum.
dunk winner.
Yeah, even
Yeah.
Ben Simmons has found some kind of role on the team this year. And
Shocking.
now compare that with the Nuggets, who fired their coach, had kind of limped into the playoffs. You know, they won the last, I think, two or three, but before that, they lost a bunch of games. So, you know, it's Jokic, and then who steps up? They got rid of KCP. They don't really have a good bench. Jamal Murray was injured. I think he played the last two games, but he's kind of also limping in the
He's not the
playoffs.
same post ACL. He's not the same.
Yeah, and then also like if you look at it, you know Zubac can maybe hold his own a little bit against Jokic. Obviously, Jokic is elite
Monster.
world level guy, but I think they have enough. I don't think the Nuggets have the bench. You know, I don't know if they're that championship team anymore. They had that internal strife. I think the Clippers with a healthy Kawhi are gonna pull this one off, and I think it'll be
Yeah, Kawhi is shocking. I thought he was washed up. It's like he didn't want to play for 2, 3 years, and
yeah,
now I think he got the hunger and he's coming back. It might be scary how deep they can go,
yeah,
but I'll be honest. MVP, uh, man, it's gonna be tough for Denver center. Like he's a killer.
yeah.
He might take over the game. So you're
Good.
right. So what is your pick? 4-2.
I'm gonna say 4-2 Clippers.
I think, and I hate to say this, brother. I think this is a tough one. And look, if Kawhi turns around early in the series, I might say 4-2. I'm gonna go game 7, and it's going to be you know who MVP.
Oh wow, okay, so you're going with the Nuggets. Okay.
I hate to do it. I hate to do it because Harden is a killer, even though he's older now. But I think if it goes game 7, it's gonna be tough. I think it's gonna go game 7. That's what
Yeah,
I'm saying.
I mean, my thing is when these starters go out, who's coming
What do
in
you
to
do?
play
Yeah.
against these? You know, so whereas you can have the Clippers guys come in and they can do a pretty decent job
Yeah.
containing some of the Nuggets. But yeah, I just think the Clippers are one of these surprise teams in
I
the
agree. We're
West.
both right. I'm just saying it because I'm just in love with him. So with Joker,
It
with Joker, I'm
seems like he's
biased.
replacing Patrick Ewing for you, your new
Yeah,
man crush.
it'll be a tough one, but yes.
Okay, cool. Well, that's the first round right there.
Awesome.
All right.
Awesome. Well, fantastic. Thank you so much. Hopefully, we see some good NBA. You watch, I watch, the guests watch, and we'll circle back. Hopefully, we have some comments in our recording when it's out there published. You know, I really appreciate it. Almanac, Hasan Sheikh, one of the most intelligent people I know in sports, and we'll be in touch. Hopefully for round 2.
Yeah, sure. Appreciate it.
I appreciate your time.
All right. See ya.
Take care.